Welcome to the Kingdom Corner. I'm Andrew, and with me is my friend, the man who sits behind the cross and under the stained glass window and apparently is like to make this place his new home. This is our good friend, Mr. Dale Baker. How are we doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty good. I think ever since I started recording up here, we've done the Chiefs have done pretty well. So why end that? Why end that?
That's
Let's keep
right.
it going. Let's keep it going. So
That's
yeah,
right. Yeah, we're not superstitious, just a little stitious, right?
that's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, as always, we want to remind you, please like, share, subscribe, and even better, leave us a great review on whatever platform you're listening to us on, whether on our website or YouTube or Spotify, Apple, wherever you happen to be listening on. And man, it is not lost on us. So we are so grateful for you tuning in and listening and checking us out. And man, if you have any other things or comments or thoughts, man, please share them with us. We'd
Yeah.
love to be able to tackle some more questions or any other concerns or anything about the Chiefs you may have. So shoot those things our way. So make sure you do that. So in this episode, we're going to be breaking down the Chiefs and
Phew.
Ravens game,
Here we
talking
go.
about Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. I mean, what's their record? What's that all about? And not only that, but what's their records in the playoffs even? That's good, right? And so
Yeah.
talking about how good are the Ravens this year? They're the number one seed in the AFC, but does that mean they're as good as their record shows? No, or even this, how great is Lamar Jackson? Is he an
Hmm.
all-time great or just maybe a flash in the pan? So, and everybody always discusses this question is who would you take number one overall in the draft if you're starting over? Well, we're
Yeah.
going to re-answer that and reshape that question. Who'd you take second overall? Because we all know who number one is. So
That's right.
that's right. So hang with us here and we'll jump right into it.
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown! Kansas City. The game is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions.
How about those Chiefs?
All right, Dale. So Chiefs play the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. 6th straight time for Mahomes and the Chiefs here. Except this time they're not playing at home. They're playing on the road in Baltimore this Sunday, 2:00 our time here in Central Time. So how are you feeling about this game?
Man, I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm very anxiously excited about this game. Kind of compared to the fact that of maybe someone coming over to visit the house and you're just fired up to see him, maybe an old time friend, childhood friend you grew up with, or maybe even Christmas morning, where you're just like, hey, let's get to the main event and let's see what's under that tree. And so that's exactly how this game is going. Let's get to the game and let's see how it plays out.
Yeah. We'll find out what it's all about. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So it works. I'm excited for it either way. So
yeah.
like you said, it was big momentum coming into this game. AFC Championship game. I mean,
Yeah.
let's ask this question right off the bat too. When the season started, or maybe even the middle of the season when the Chiefs are struggling, did you expect the Chiefs to make it this far?
I always, me, I'm pretty optimistic in that regard. So I'm always like, with 1-5, as long as he's healthy, we have a pretty good shot of being in the AFC Championship. And then just the way our defense was playing, I thought it was, always a possibility. Which is the fact, like, I mean, I think we got spoiled the last 5 years where it was like high flying offense. You can't stop the offense. And now it's our defense that is getting, I think, a little disrespected this week, not being talked about. I mean, they're talking about Mahomes and all that, but our defense has been elite this year. And so we've seen it in playoff games. The Chief fans have experienced where their defense was elite and they didn't show up for a game or they got a little tight. And I think the same could go for the Baltimore Ravens. They could get a little tight and who knows what could happen, right? Who knows
Yeah.
what it's any given Sunday.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's talking about the Ravens defense being number one. And what
Yeah.
many people are missing is the Chiefs are in second, and they are not far behind those
Yeah.
number one
No.
spots in the rankings for number ones in those numbers. So, but anyways, let's move on to Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. So, a few stats just to start with.
All
They
right.
faced off 4 times in their careers, never in the playoffs before though. And Mahomes is 3-1 against Lamar. But the big thing is Lamar Jackson won the last matchup, and it's the only
Okay.
matchup that they've played in Baltimore. And this game for the playoffs is also going to be in Baltimore. So,
There you
I
go.
mean, that's a big thing right there.
Yeah, that's
So,
huge.
so some numbers for Mahomes that he's going to be looking for in this playoff game. If Mahomes wins this game, he was going to tie Peyton Manning, John Elway, and Terry Bradshaw for a third all-time in playoff wins before he's
Yeah.
even 30 years old. So the only two in front of him are Tom Brady, who has 1 million or something like that, and then the great Joe Montana. So so before 30 years old, moving into third place, that's pretty good. So
that's really good.
Yeah. Then the big news on Lamar Jackson this offseason, he signed a big contract with the Baltimore Ravens, extending his contract for 5 years for $260 million. So $52 million a year, representing himself. I mean, and the thing that has to be mentioned too is the Ravens were kind of holding out a little bit on him and saying, no, I don't know if we want to sign you to this kind of money. And the Ravens kind of shopped him around, said, hey, any team that wants him, give us 2 first-round picks and maybe a few little other things, and you can have him. And nobody jumped on that, right? And so there's teams that has to be kicking themselves now. Such teams like maybe the Raiders, who've been struggling with quarterback, and from looks of it, they're going to be struggling for a while. So, I mean, that doesn't look good for some of those teams.
No, it does not.
Hey, you know what? As Chiefs fans, I'm okay with them struggling, though.
I'm all right with them struggling. Tom Brady made a career being in a struggling conference, so
that's right.
I'm all for it.
That's right, man. And our conference just got a little bit harder with maybe the Chargers. New coach Jim Harbaugh, right? So,
that's exactly right.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about that maybe another time. But let's jump into some numbers for Mahomes and Lamar on the 2023 season. So total passing yards, Mahomes has about 500 to 600 more passing yards than Lamar Jackson does. They have the exact same completion percentage with 67.2. Mahomes has 3 more touchdowns than Lamar Jackson does passing, but Mahomes also has 7 more interceptions. And as we've mentioned before, a lot of these interceptions, or at least some of them, have come off the fingertips, or maybe not even fingertips, the full hands of wide receivers just hitting the ball up. Looking at you, Kadarius Toney. Looking at you. So, not throwing better than the best.
He has a couple of those.
Yeah. So yards per attempt, Mahomes has 7. Lamar Jackson has 8. Their rating for this year, Mahomes has 92.6 and Jackson has 102.7. Lamar Jackson has about 500, maybe 400 more yards rushing than Mahomes.
There you go.
But Jackson has 5 rushing touchdowns, and Mahomes doesn't have any this year.
Not yet.
Not yet. So that's regular season numbers. So
okay, all right.
Playoff numbers. This is the ones that really matter there, right? So playoff numbers. Patrick Mahomes in his career is 13-3 in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, before last week that they won, he was 1-3. So now he's 2-3. Finally got a second win. Total touchdowns in the playoffs, Mahomes is 43. Lamar Jackson 8. Total turnovers, Mahomes 8. Lamar Jackson 7. So, I mean, that's a good chunk there of, 10 more games or so than Lamar Jackson, only 1 more turnover. So, rating in the postseason, Mahomes 106.7, Lamar Jackson 75.7. So, those are some numbers. How do you feel about Mahomes and Lamar Jackson? How do they match up?
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing that, you mentioned it here just in the beginning where Mahomes, not even 30, 28, I think, years old, and has already played a full season in the playoffs. And to put up those kinds of numbers, those numbers are like MVP numbers for a quarterback in a regular season. And so it just shows you like his level, how he just raises his level to like all time higher. I mean, like it seems like when the lights get brighter for Mahomes, he just plays better, and that's incredible. And so, I mean, you mentioned earlier just the middle of the year where we're kind of thinking like, I don't know if they can make it. I don't know if they can make a run, or can they flip the switch? Can they get it all together? And it seems like these last 2 playoff games they have flipped the switch, and they are playing together, and they are playing smooth. And so, but yeah, Lamar, he's one of the guys that gets you to a TV, right? Just to be able to watch him and see what he's going to do and how he's going to run around or how he's going to throw the ball. And it's just, I mean, that play action that he's able to do is so deadly because he's such a weapon. And you have, as a linebacker or a safety, you have to bite on the play action because they run the ball so well. And if you don't bite, then you're going to get chewed up for yards. But if you bite, then they're going to throw over the top of you. So it's like, wow, that play action is so key for the Ravens and him.
I'm going to tell you this. If my safety is biting on a run, I'm pulling him out of the game. My safety should not be biting on a run. My linebackers, sure,
Yeah,
not my
yeah.
safeties. My safety should never bite on a run. They should watch their guy and then see what is developing.
Definitely. Well, and the whole thing is with Lamar, has been impressive to watch him in his whole career, because I think you kind of asked in the beginning there, is he a flash in the pan? And we can kind of get into this. There for a moment, I would have said yes, but something Lamar has done is he's gotten better every year. Each year he's added to his game. Each year he's gotten a better pocket presence. Maybe he wasn't looking, or early on it was like 1, 2, okay, they're not open, I'm running. And now he's kind of hanging out and buying time as the quarterback, in which it's fun to watch.
All right, since you brought it up, let's jump ahead then. So is Lamar an all-time great, a flash in the pan, or is he just overrated?
All right. I think we're too quick to start calling players great, and we want to call them the GOAT. I mean, I know that's the big thing. Like, who's the GOAT? Like, is Patrick Mahomes the GOAT? Well,
yes.
Yeah. As Chiefs fan, we find it, like, yeah. But I mean, like, he's got what, 10 more years, maybe 8 more years if we're lucky. 8, 10 years left. I mean, like, just to think like what his numbers will be at the end, I think will like just speak for themselves. And so I'm like, let's just let it play out. And I think the same with Lamar. Let him play out, because we see Mike Vick. He's really good, but he kind of washed out. He was a great player. Loved watching him play. He was one of my favorite players. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, like, let's just see how his career goes, and let's call it. But I think he's on the path to be an all-time great. 2 MVPs in the closet, I mean, he hasn't been awarded this year, but we all assume that this year he'll get the MVP. And so that's 2. Pat has 2. And so is Pat more, I guess, to throw the question back at you, is Lamar more on Pat's level than Josh or Joe? Burrow and Allen?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
So, but his big question mark is, can he stay healthy, right? And that's going to determine a lot of his future, too.
Yeah.
There's been at least 2, maybe more years than that he has not even finished the season because of injuries and whatnot. And some guys, unfortunately, they're just kind of plagued with the injury bug, and they can't quite get over it.
No.
And so...
and this is not, Go ahead.
And like there's just some guys that are like that. Like one person that was great when he was on the field was Sam Bradford, the OU guy that played for the Rams when they were in St. Louis. Yeah. When he's on the field, he was dynamic, but he could not stay on the field for anything. And so if he would stay on the field, he might have gone down as one of the better ones that have ever played the game, but he wasn't ever healthy enough to be on the field. So yeah, I would say that Lamar, if I'm being honest, a few years ago, I would have just said he's just a flash in the pan.
Right.
Especially his first year or two, like his passing was not good at all. You can watch his passing it. I'm not making it up. Go back and watch his first year in the league. He was not very good at passing the ball. But to his credit, he heard those comments. He heard the criticism against him. And in the offseason, he put in the work, and he dramatically improved his passing game. From year after year. And so it's improved, and he's not necessarily going to be a guy who's going to sit back in the pocket and tear you apart every game with his passing, but it's now a threat to you, where before you're just like, we're just going to make you pass and you can't beat us. And now he might be able to, just because he's improved. He might have some of those games. So,
well, I don't know if he's there yet, but he's getting there.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he's there, but everybody, even people who aren't great, have great games every once in a while.
That's exactly right.
Look at Joe Flacco, right? I mean,
Flacco, baby.
He fell apart in the playoffs, but the last couple games of the regular season, he looked like, man, maybe he is not as washed up as everybody thought he was. And so everybody can have a good game if you have a little bit of talent.
Well, and I think like also part of Lamar's like mystique or his pedigree is the fact that this is not the first time he's been a 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was 19 where he was 1 seed and they got beat by the Titans. And so I mean, like in the first round. So I mean, I think that will add up. If they lose Sunday, I mean, I think it's going to start getting loud for him, which I hate, because it's I heard someone, I can't remember who, and I hate that, but like, it's not Josh Allen's fault. It's not Lamar's fault. It's not Joe Burrow's fault that they ran into the greatest quarterback in the all time. Right. So it was like Michael Jordan. It wasn't Karl Malone. It wasn't Charles Barkley. It wasn't, it wasn't their fault. They're not bad players. They just ran into the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then talking about quarterbacks, who is your on your top 5 list of quarterbacks. So
Who's on my top 5?
Or I can go first if you prefer to hear mine first.
You go first, and then I'll adjust where they're at.
All right. So top 5 list of quarterbacks currently playing in the NFL, not all time, just currently in the NFL.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think it's really debatable. You can try to debate me if you want to, but just by the numbers alone and his accomplishments on the field in both the regular season and postseason, I don't think there's much to debate. And if you want to debate that, I would consider how much you really know football.
Right. Yeah.
That's just the truth of it. And maybe I'm a little biased, but I think the numbers speak for themselves, that it's beyond biasy at this point, that he is the greatest at playing the game this point. I mean, this is year 2 now that he's supposed to have an off year, rebuilding year. And once again, he's back in the AFC Championship game. So Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 by a landslide. Number 2, I have Lamar Jackson. He's working his way up there, about to win his second MVP. Now made to his first AFC Championship game in his career. So we'll see how that works out for him. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Right? I don't know how you cannot have him in your top 1. So now he has the same problem as Lamar Jackson, though. He struggles to stay healthy. So this is the second year in a short time in the NFL that he has not finished a season. So number 4, this is where starting to get a little dicey here, where people can definitely argue some good points. But number 4, I got Justin Herbert.
Okay.
So he's got a strong arm, just bad coaching around him, hasn't been able to pull out some of those games. And then number 5, my surprise guy, might surprise you even a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
The rookie, CJ Stroud, my man. There's some, I have some honorable mentions, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, and Kirk Cousins. Man, Kirk Cousins doesn't get near the credit he deserves. So he is much better than people think. But anyways, that's my top 5 with CJ Stroud rounding it out.
Yeah. I think I would slide. The only thing, what's funny, I was listening to your list there, and all of them, and even mine, I'm not saying you're wrong, are AFC quarterbacks.
Because I'm not.
But all of them are AFC quarterbacks, which is crazy to think, because then I was listening, I was like, oh, he's not going to mention one NFC quarterback. Not even Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford.
Hey, I put Kirk Cousins in my honorable mention.
Okay,
so,
well, I mean number
not
7,
top 5,
number 8 guy.
That wasn't in a particular order. My honorable mentions, they were just in there.
All right, so I think I would slide CJ out, and then move Herbert to the number 5 spot, and I think I'd slide Josh Allen at number 4.
Josh Allen.
Allen. Yeah. I know he comes with a lot of mistakes and a lot of things, but I mean, the guy is just, I think if you're drafting a team, or no, we're not talking about that. I just think he's a player, and what he can do on the field, like his running and his throwing. And I think a lot of Josh Allen's mistakes come from his coaching.
It could be, but you know what?
Yeah.
At a point, you have to protect the ball. You're the quarterback.
Well, I understand.
He's going to give you some dynamic plays, yes, but he's going to win you games, but he's also going to lose you games.
But is he going to win you? Is he going to win you more than he's going to lose you, though?
Well, it doesn't matter. Your quarterback shouldn't be losing you games, right? That's the big argument about quarterbacks, is the wins and losses go with them, and sometimes to their credit, sometimes not. But Josh Allen, it is his fault that they lose a lot of these games. He tries to be Superman. Throws an interception, fumbles the ball. I mean, he cleaned it up a little bit towards the end of this year. Okay. But last year, especially as they were finishing out the season, the last month or two, it was almost every game. They were in the game, and then he'd throw an interception as they're driving down the field to win. Or he'd fumble the ball in the red zone and get other team would get it. And so, man, I can't put Josh Allen in my top 5 if he's going to cost me games.
Okay. All right. I think his win percentage is pretty good.
It might be, but those interceptions, those turnovers are too big of a thing for me. So maybe I'm wrong, but in my humble and accurate opinion, if you turn the ball over,
there you go.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
All right.
Yeah. So who would be, if you're going to start your own franchise, right? Maybe not start your own, but every day is fresh. No one's on any team, no coaches or anything.
Okay.
You get to pick one quarterback, or not even quarterback, one player.
Oh, one player.
One player to start your team with. Who are you picking? Like, we're going to say you have the second pick, right? Because
Mahomes
Mahomes is the first pick. If you don't pick Mahomes, you don't know football. That's
there you
the
go.
truth
All right,
of it.
that's the bottom line. So if it was, I'll do both quarterback and player. How about that?
All right.
I think the quarterback would be Josh Allen, right?
Yeah,
Josh Allen, 100%.
For you, maybe.
For me, because I think
Josh,
like you mentioned it, Joe Burrow injury, Lamar Jackson injury, right? So you don't know if they could stay there. And the most important part was that availability, right? So being available. And so I think Josh Allen's number 2, and then the second pick, and then I think I go Christian McCaffrey as my other player. So there you go.
That's a good pick. All right. Yeah. Hey, Ezra. So the Chiefs and the Ravens play this week, right?
Yeah.
Who is going to win this game?
Chiefs.
That's right.
All right, there we go. All right, there's an early pick.
Even Ezra has shown his support for the Chiefs here. So, but yeah, do you think Mahomes is better than anybody else in football? Yeah. Shaking his head.
Kid.
Yes, I agree.
That's a smart kid right there.
Ezra, you're so smart. I knew you knew a lot about football. Yeah. But Dale thinks that he would pick Josh Allen.
Oh, well, you said it.
Well, I know. he doesn't know what he's talking about, does he? No. Oh. Yeah. So if Mahomes isn't available.
Yes. See, if Mahomes not. Okay. Yeah.
If Mahomes isn't available,
If Mahomes isn't available, Travis Kelce.
Oh, Travis Kelce.
There you go.
Hey, good pick. Good pick.
That is a good pick.
I like how you think.
Yeah.
So if Mahomes isn't available, though, I'm still not picking Josh Allen because he's going to cost me games. He's not even in my top 5.
Yeah, guess what? Your quarterback's not even on the field when it matters.
Hey, I didn't say who I was picking yet.
Okay, all right. So, we'll see.
Well, it's hard to pick Lamar or Joe Burrow.
What? Yeah.
Travis Kelce's gone.
Well, then it's hard to pick.
So it's hard to pick.
It's hard to pick Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow because they're so injury prone, right? And I got to have a guy who's going to be able to be on the field to win me games.
That's right.
And even though, my next 2 guys on my top 5 is Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud, rookie. Yeah.
You can make an argument for any of these guys after Mahomes. You really could.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to go with CJ Stroud, though. The rookie, he showed me enough in this first year.
He did. He's good.
Maybe he just has a first year flash in the pan, kind of like RG3 did, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's like that, but maybe not. But if he continues like he did, he looks like he's the real deal, though.
Yeah.
And so if he continues, I think I'm going to pick CJ Stroud.
I wouldn't be mad at you. That's a good pick.
All right.
Unlike your anger at me, what player in the league would you take if you could take any player?
I don't know. Let's see. If I had to pick somebody else after.
Which team do you like other than the Chiefs?
None of them.
I know.
None of them.
Oh, what is it?
I'm gonna say your next favorite team is KC.
KC.
Remember, you said you like a sweater of it.
Oh, K-State.
Yeah. K-State.
Oh,
yeah. In college. Yeah.
There you go. There's your next favorite team.
So, all right. So if I had to pick the next guy, I don't know how you could not pick Christian McCaffrey. He is the all-around player. So I'd have to pick him too. I'm going to jump on your wagon and say him.
There you go. I even thought maybe a left tackle too. Particular left tackle.
That wouldn't be a bad pick either. So Trent Williams would have to be your left tackle pick.
Well, no, I think I got that kid from the Detroit Lions. Is it?
Penei Sewell or something like that?
Yeah. I think he's all pro this year.
Hey, he's good.
Yeah.
All right. So how about the Ravens? How good are the Ravens really? So not including the games that Lamar's played, because the last game he didn't play, most starters didn't. So not counting that, the Ravens have won 10 of their last 11 games. Yeah. The other 2 teams left in the playoffs, because they haven't played the Chiefs at all this year, but they played both the 49ers and the Lions. Mm-hmm. They beat both of them in a combined score of 71-25.
Oof, man.
So their offense has scored 31 or more points in 7 straight home games. Their defense is the first team in NFL history to lead the league in both scoring, defense, and takeaways, and in sacks.
Man, that is pretty impressive there for that defense. And so, I think I think they are good. I think they deserve the number 1 seed. I think they deserve where they're at to be home field. to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. But how many times has Mahomes played the number one defense? Right.
Yeah.
And just cut them up. I think last year when they went into San Francisco and that was supposed to be the number one defense and they scored like 48 points or 42 points or something in in three quarters.
Yeah. And then I think the Titans were supposed to have number one defense. Then I think Tampa Bay, like the number one defense kept changing last year because the Chiefs kept beating the number one defense and putting up a lot of numbers on them.
Right. And so, so I just think that a lot of those things are just, the stats alone are, and they change, and like this week to week. I mean, how many times do we say that any given Sunday you can be beaten? And so guys get tight. How many times have we seen it as Kansas City Chiefs fans in the early mid 90s to late 90s where guys just got a little too tight and they lost? And so I think there's a lot of different things that can happen for the Baltimore Ravens defense. And I don't think they've played against really a great quarterback at all.
Yeah, they haven't played very many, that's for sure.
No. So
well, let's jump into the injury report for this week. The Chiefs they've concluded their final practice today, and so it tells us a lot. So the ones we know for sure out are Joe Thuney, Derek Nottie, who's probably out for the year, and Sky Moore is still out. So guys who are questionable: Mike Edwards, Isiah Pacheco, and Willie Gay Jr., as well as Kadarius Toney. Those guys are all questionable. Yeah. So, and I think the biggest one there is, well, there's a bunch of big ones there. So it's big that Toney's not playing. It's also huge. Big that Willie Gay is questionable, as well as Isiah Pacheco. So and just to hit the Ravens guys real quick. So Mark Andrews, who's come back from injury reserve, does not have a status for the game, which means he is going to be playing. Marlon Humphrey is questionable. Their linebacker Phillips is doubtful. So those are the big ones for the Ravens.
Right. I always love those questionable guys where they're like, yeah, I could maybe go. And then like, I think Mahomes will test Humphrey pretty early, right? He'll say, okay, let's see what you got. Let's see if you are really healthy or are you just, masking something. So yeah, definitely. But Thuney's a big one to be taken out of the lineup for sure.
It is. All right. So here's my question for you then.
Okay.
I know Thuney's out, but let's just say you had the choice of one of these guys are going to play and one is not going to play between Joe Thuney, your left guard, and Isiah Pacheco, your starting running back. Who would you choose to start?
Yeah, you asked me this earlier, and I've thought about it quite a bit. And just the fact that to think about that, like, because Joe Thuney not only helps in the run, but he also helps in the pass protection. And then I know the fact that like having the offensive line whole is very important in football. And so for it kind of like having that hole, I know Al Grady will do a great job filling in, but still to have that guy missing Joe Thuney. So I would say Joe Thuney not on the field hurts us worse than Pacheco not be on the field.
So you're going with Thuney is going to be the bigger thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm going to pick Isiah Pacheco to start. So I think, there's some good points to be made. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been playing with a lot more passion, a lot more energy since Isiah Pacheco's been in the game. And I mean, we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. The Chiefs didn't.
No.
And so since they didn't pick up the 5th-year option on him, he knows like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be playing football after this year. And he's seeing what Isiah Pacheco's doing, and the game or two Pacheco was out. Clyde was running with a vengeance this year.
Yes, he was.
I think he would be a good substitute, but I don't think anybody compares to Isiah Pacheco and how hard he runs. And so, yes, you need some good offensive lines to open holes, but it's a lot harder to replace your tackles than it is your guards.
I'm
not saying that all are not important because they all are. Joe Thuney, great player, probably underrated on the Chiefs' offensive line.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Even so, I think I'm still going to pick Isiah Pacheco to start that in that spot. Just if nothing else, for the energy that he brings to the team with the passion he runs with. I mean, as we've talked before, he runs like he's angry with the ground. Right?
Yes.
Just runs with that passion and that energy. And so I got to have that guy on the field.
Definitely. I love Pacheco, love Pop, but so it would be both of them would hurt. Both of them off the field, or one of them off the field hurts. So for sure.
All right. Well, let's jump to a new thing we're going to be trying out. So the betting
Okay.
lines that Vegas puts out there, and as a disclaimer or however you want to frame this
Right.
beforehand, we're not endorsing using your money or putting your money down on these things. We're not saying trust us with these picks because
Oh yeah, don't
by any means, but we're saying, hey, this is just a fun exercise to do to see how
Yeah.
close we can get with the Vegas number. So these are just over unders. So we'll go through these, go back and forth. Who goes first? So
Okay.
I'll start with this. So Mahomes rushing yards, 27. So I'm going to pick the over on that. I think Mahomes is going to have a couple big runs here.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think in the playoffs he usually runs a lot more, anyways.
that definitely is going to be. That's an easy over. That's an easy over.
All right, so we both got the over there. Lamar Jackson rushing 65 yards.
I think part of one of my keys of the game is that they have to hold him in check in rushing. So I'm going to go under rushing.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the over. I mean, to last week to Josh Allen, they allowed 72 yards, and Lamar Jackson is much quicker and elusive than Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm taking the over there. So Mahomes passing 241. I'm going to take the over in that one as well. I think they're going to have to put up some points and some yards against the Ravens if they want to win.
Yeah. So over for me as well.
All right. Lamar Jackson passing 209 yards.
I'm definitely saying under.
All right. Well,
our defense is showing up, bud. Our defense is showing up.
Yeah, I'll take the under on that one as well.
Yeah,
I think that our secondary is lights out, and I think they're going to take those things away and well, they're just going to take it away from no matter what their game plan is. So
right.
All right. Travis Kelce receiving yards 63.
I'm going to say under. Not saying that he's not going to have impact plays, but I just think he's not going to get 63. And I hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah.
Because I know that man, that Baltimore has great linebackers and a great safety. And so I think they're going to do their best they can on Travis Kelce. And so I think they're going to try to take Travis Kelce out of the equation and then say, beat us with somebody else. And so if it's Rashid Rice. But yeah, I think definitely the under.
Yeah, I'm going to take Travis Kelce with the under as well. I think that the Ravens defense is going to lock in on him and say, hey, prove to us you can beat us with somebody else. So all your same reasons. All right, MVS receiving yards. Vegas has it set at 15, which is probably close to his average. His average is probably like 10 or 11. But I do think he had a big game last week.
Yes, he did.
Against the Bills. And I think maybe he found himself a little bit of confidence. And I think because he was able to make those plays, Mahomes is going to say, hey, you got this, you can do it. And I think Mahomes is going to throw him the ball a couple more times because of that. So I'll take the over.
I'll take the over as well. I know we need him to have a couple big plays, right? We need him to make at least one big play, one big catch in the game. It doesn't have to be like for a touchdown, but I just think like maybe a third down and long where he can grab a first down for us to continue the drive.
Yeah. All right. So last one, Isiah Pacheco rushing yards at 64.
It's a stout defensive line. A lot of linebackers. Give me, what'd you say, 65?
64.
64. Oh, man. Give me the under. Give me the under on that.
All right. I think that's probably a good guess. I'm going to take the over. I think that I think the Chiefs, and I'm basing a lot of this on what the Chiefs need to do in order to win this game. And I think the Chiefs got to have a balanced approach if they want to beat this defense. If they are forced to be one-dimensional, I don't think the Chiefs are going to have much of a chance.
Yeah, I think you got to run, but I don't think he's going to get up to 64. I think Clyde's going to steal some yards from him.
Yeah, well, he might. So we'll see.
There you go.
We'll see.
All right.
All right. What are your keys to the game for this? What do the Chiefs have to do to win?
My keys for the game are to play clean, just like they have done the last two games. I think that was an important thing. Limit the turnovers, especially in key spots. I mean, I know why I say key spots is because I know what's his name, Clyde Edwards fumbled like at the end of the game, like 40 or 60 seconds left in the game, and it was like kind of garbage time. So, against the Dolphins, so it didn't make a big deal. But then you had Cole Hartman who fumbled, so you got to play clean, limit the penalties.
Fumbled twice, lost one of them through the back of the end zone.
So play clean and then contain Lamar. I think that's the keys.
Yep, I'll echo some of those as well as add a few more. I got a few more this week. I mean, it's the AFC Championship game, so
that's right.
You got to do a little bit more to win these kind of games. So I'll echo what you said: contain Lamar Jackson and stopping the run. kind of dual head there. So Lamar Jackson on the season had over 800 yards rushing, 5 rushing touchdowns, and averaged 5.5 yards per carry on the season. And last week's win over the Texans, Lamar Jackson had 100 yards rushing, averaged over 9 yards a carry, and had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Wow.
So that's huge. And that's against the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL were the Texans. Especially, they were the number 1 against running backs, I should say. I don't know about total, but against running backs, they were the number 1 rushing defense. And and Lamar Jackson ran for 100 yards with over 9 yards to carry and 2 touchdowns. So
there you go.
Chiefs are going to have to stop that. The other thing, Mahomes has got to scramble for at least 2 to 3 big plays. He does that a lot. And when I say big plays, at a minimum of 10 yards. So you're going to get a first down. And so minimum of 2 to 3 of those big running plays there. And the same question or same thought of stopping Lamar Jackson, you ought to also pressure him. Yeah. So you can't just let him sit back there in a clean pocket. And so I would say the defense, your main job as a defensive line is to go for Lamar Jackson. Even if that means you give up a few more runs by the running backs for, 5 or 6 yards a carry, I'll take that if you're containing Lamar Jackson. I'll take that all day, and I'll live and die by them getting 5, 6, 7 yards if we can keep Lamar Jackson from getting his yards. So you basically go for Lamar Jackson, and if you happen to see the running back along the way to the quarterback, then tackle him. But your first focus should be Lamar Jackson right there. And so the Ravens got some good wide receivers too. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, OBJ, all capable of big games. There's a lot of targets for Lamar Jackson, a lot of targets for the Chiefs defense to keep track of too. So we'll see what happens there.
They're up for it.
That's right. All right, score predictions. So Sunday, 2:00 our time here. Chiefs will be facing off against the Ravens. Who's going to win this game, and what's the score?
I think the Chiefs are going to win the game, and the score will be 24-27.
24-27.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think as we talked about earlier, the Ravens have scored at least 31 in 7 straight home games, and so I think the first to 30 is going to win this game. That's what I really think. The first to 30 is going to win this game. And so I think for the Chiefs to win this game, they're going to have to score over 30, which they have not done many times this year, except against really poor opponents. Yeah. And so I think for the Chiefs to win, the score is going to be 34-31. The Ravens are still going to get their 31, but the Chiefs are going to have to score a little bit more in 34. So I could see the Ravens potentially winning this game because, as we've talked about before, this is the team to beat across the board for anybody on either side, Super Bowl, championship game. The Ravens are the team to beat. And so to beat the Ravens, man, you're going to have to really take it to them. And I think the Ravens have a shot to win this game. They really do. And if the Chiefs lose this game, it'll be a score of 31-24.
Okay.
So still a 7-point game there, just a little bit different. But I'm still going to go with my gut as a Chiefs fan to say Chiefs are going to win this and pull it out.
Chiefs are going to win. I like it. I love it. They're going to win.
All right. So at the short time we have left, the other side of the playoff bracket is the 49ers versus the Lions. So who do you got in that game?
I think the magic in Detroit is going to wear off. Jared Goff is going to turn back into a pumpkin. And, man, I think the 49ers win this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'd love to see the Lions in it just because they haven't won any before. So I'd love to see them win it. But I just think the 49ers are going to be too much for them. Yeah. So we'll see. All right. Well, thanks for joining us in this episode of the Kingdom Corner. Thanks for joining us. As always, we're hoping for a Chiefs victory this weekend so we can have another Victory Monday and be preparing for another Super Bowl in back-to-back years. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here in the Kingdom Corner.